Hello and welcome to a Sound Advice short video overview of the Monitor Audio Bronze 300 7G. My name is Ed Selley, I'm one of the independent reviewers for Sound Advice. What have we got here? Well, we've got the flagship of the current bronze range, and the word current is really important here. There have been a lot of bronze ranges. I have been active in this industry for longer than I care to think about when I think about it, and there's always been a range of Monitor Audio bronze loudspeakers. There have been so many ranges of Monitor Audio bronze loudspeakers that this has 7G on the end of it to denote that it is in fact the 7th generation of Monitor Audio bronze loudspeakers. So there have been plenty of them. What does that mean in reality? Well, at its core, things change relatively slowly in the world of bronze loudspeakers. This means that you get a gold dome tweeter. It's made out of a material Monitor Audio called CCAM, ceramic coated aluminium and magnesium, and it's mated to a pair of equally CCAM mid-bass drivers, 165 mils. Monitor Audio describes it as a 2.5-way loudspeaker, which means that both of these drivers receive basically the same signal, but it's not quite the same. Actually, one of them cuts in at a slightly lower frequency than the other one. It's wrapped in a cabinet, which is a whisker over a metre tall. It's reasonably substantial, if not the most solid thing going at the asking price. And whilst this pair in black looks a bit sober, you can also have them in white and walnut, both of which look a bit livelier. Now, what's important here is more sort of what you can't see than what you can see. In the good old days, Monitor Audio bronze loudspeakers were very fast, very exciting and very punchy. They were also a little bit on the lively side if you pushed them a bit hard or listened to music that wasn't very well recorded or put them with bright electronics. Over the years, Monitor Audio sort of rode back on that. They made their speakers more refined, they were richer, more capable things, but some of that excitement started to fall by the wayside. What this speaker does is sort of bring some of that excitement back. I listened to the preceding 6th generation pair of these. Actually, I listened to the stand mount, but the effect is the same. Some years ago, and it was almost verging on a bit boring. This is not a boring loudspeaker. I've put it through a wide selection of music, some tasteful, some not, and it really hasn't put a foot wrong. What it's done brilliantly is recapture some of that fundamental drive and excitement that was so invigorating about the original Bronze Series loudspeakers. But it's done it at the same time as losing almost none of the refinement and general civility that had begun to sort of filter in over the years. It's a really well-judged balancing act. What's more, this is not a hard loudspeaker to drive. Sensitivity is 88 decibels per watt of input, and even if you don't know what that means, fundamentally you don't need a volcanically powerful amplifier to drive them. The impedance is fairly impressive as well, dips to a minimum of 4.4 ohms, but it's 8 most of the time. So again, you don't need a vast amount of power or current to make these loudspeakers sing. There are one or two limitations, and how serious these are really depend on your sort of preferences and what you're looking for in a loudspeaker. I would go so far as to say that when you compare them to something like the Wharfedale Super Denton, for which there is a review on our site, some of that holographic mid-range and expansiveness the Wharfedale has in its sort of presentational style is lacking here. This speaker doesn't necessarily expand out much beyond the edge of the cabinet. What you get is a sound focus between the two cabinets, although it's very well judged and it's impressively sort of detailed and deep within that space. But of course, the Monitor Audio has rather more bass than the Wharfedale. It has still got plenty to give at points where the Wharfedale has decided that it's time to give up and go home. I've already said I'm not necessarily sold on the appearance of the black ones, but I wouldn't say it's too far at odds with anything else available at the price. Something that has genuinely wound me up is the feet. This generation now has outrigger feet, it has improved the stability, and you can level the loudspeaker without having to lift it up and adjust. You can adjust with it in place, so it's all well and good. However, whoever at Monitor Audio decided that 2 different fittings were needed to apply each of the outrigger feet, so one big screw, one small screw, this is a really bad idea. It is enormously frustrating to put the feet on this loudspeaker as you've got it basically upended. You have a small working space to which you have 2 Allen keys and a series of screws that want to go all over the place. It's really, really annoying, and it put me in a foul mood for the first hour or two of listening to the loudspeakers. And it's only because they're genuinely good that I rode back from being furious with them. It's not Monitor Audio's finest piece of industrial design. Otherwise though, there's precious little to really criticise here. If it was my £1,000, because I am a stand mount person and because their mid-range absolutely bowled me over, I'd still go with the Wharfedale Super Denton. However, you are not me, and the drive, the punch, the excitement, combined with the civility of the Bronze 307G could well win you over. And I do think that this is an absolute return to form for Monitor Audio after a slightly confused generation of bronze loudspeakers before this point. As a result of that, we have awarded it a recommended badge. You can read the full review on the site. If you've enjoyed this video overview, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more content. In the meantime, all that remains for me to do is thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye!